Let me ask you a question. Who is the main character in the last novel you finished? Not your favorite novel, but the last one. If you're struggling to remember, then I think you've maybe partially diagnosed today's problem already. I finished a novel a few weeks ago. I actually really liked it. I even recommended it to a friend. I talked to my mom about it. But if you asked me the main character's name right this second, and I'm thinking about it, I honestly couldn't tell you. That's so weird, right? I liked the novel. I remember Frodo carrying the ring, and I remember Elizabeth Bennet refusing Mr. Darcy, and I remember Katniss volunteering for a prim, instead taking her place as tribute, and I remember Atticus Finch defending Tom Robinson, but a book I literally just read, my mind is blank. So, what's the difference? I don't think it's eye color or some sort of tragic backstory or an unusual job. I think this is exactly why some incredibly well developed characters still disappear from readers' mind. If your protagonist isn't staying with readers, then I think there's a pretty good chance that you have diagnosed the wrong problem. No worries, that's what we're here to talk about. Let's figure out what's really going on. If we haven't met before, I'm Melissa Bourbon. I have written more than 35 novels across mystery and magical fiction and women's fiction. And welcome back to another episode of Diagnosing the Problem. My goal with this series is to help you stop treating symptoms and start figuring out what is actually going on, what might actually be wrong with your story. I've heard a lot of authors say that readers just aren't connecting with their character. And I've experienced this myself early on as an author. And I've read published books that have left me feeling this way, like, okay, that character was great, the book was good, but not that memorable. So today's diagnosis, I think, is pretty common. If your beta readers or friends or readers out there are saying my main character is nice, or that they're interesting, but they're not really connecting with them, then that's a problem, right? And as a writer, it stings because you've probably spent weeks or months or a long time building that character. Maybe you did a character survey, like you know all about their childhood and their greatest fear and their favorite food and their biggest regret. And you know things about them that never make it on the page. So given all of this, it leaves you, me, all of us wondering why readers don't remember our characters. Over the years, I have read and written manuscripts where I knew absolutely everything about the protagonist, their family, their trauma, their hobbies, their dreams, their regrets. But a few weeks later, I couldn't tell you a single thing about them. They're just gone from my brain. I've had the opposite thing happen. I've read a novel, and maybe after just one chapter, that character is like totally embedded into my brain. It's, living rent free, as that saying goes. So how? Why? What is the difference? How can one character have pages and pages and pages of development and ultimately be forgettable, while another character becomes unforgettable after just a single scene? That is a pretty big conundrum, right? Here's what I think the common misdiagnosis is. Most of us assume that in order to make a character more interesting, we have to give them some other quirk or a darker secret or, a more unusual job or maybe something different and more traumatic in childhood. We might feel like we have to make our dialogue a lot sharper or funnier or our voice different in some way. And okay, yes, sometimes those things can help. But I don't think any of those things is the diagnosis for the problem of characters being forgettable. So that's the misdiagnosis. These are all just details, and details don't make characters unforgettable. I was thinking about this actually today on my way back from the chiropractor because I'm rereading or listening to The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and this is for my book club. I read it when it first came out, and Addie has stuck in my mind ever since. I mean, I've not forgotten her. I'm rereading it to refresh my memory on the details so that I can talk about it. And I'm glad I get to do that because Addie is an interesting and memorable character. If you haven't read it, I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but it is a really good example. So as I was thinking about this topic and how to share it with you, and there is a scene there pretty early in the book that fits really perfectly. And it's not, great prose that grabbed me, and it wasn't the world building. Both of those things are good in this book, but that wasn't what it was about. It was really like a moment where her whole life changes, and it's because of a single choice that she makes. So at one point, Addie stands at this river in France, and the year is 1691, I think, and she has a choice to make. She can stay on the path everyone expects her to follow, or she can choose something completely different. And of course, she isn't necessarily thinking about these two choices really rationally in the moment, but they are still her choices. And that decision that she makes tells us more about who she is than pages and pages and pages of description ever could. She's willing to risk everything rather than live a life someone else has chosen for her. And that's huge. That's memorable. And it has nothing to do with the color of her hair or her childhood trauma or, any other detail, her friendship with Isabel, any of that. It comes down to that single choice. What is she willing to sacrifice? What is she willing to do? Have you ever noticed that you don't fall in love with a character because you know everything about them? Readers trust characters way, way, way before they understand them. And that trust comes from watching them choose. So here's the real diagnosis for this problem of forgettable characters. I don't think readers remember characters because they're interesting. I think they remember characters because of the decisions they make when something really important is at stake. And that's crucial. Something important has to be at stake. Think about Harry Potter. The book where he has to go into the Forbidden Forest knowing that Voldemort intends to kill him. So he chooses to go, and that's a powerful decision. Think about Elizabeth Bennet. It's not her wit that stays with us. It is that she refuses Mr. Darcy when almost everyone else around her is saying, she should say yes. Why isn't she saying yes? And then Atticus Finch, I mentioned at the beginning, such a brilliant character, right? And so memorable even after all of these years. And he chooses to defend Tom Robinson, knowing exactly what it is going to cost him within the community. So all of these decisions reveal something very deep about the character. They are the moments we carry with us a long time after we've forgotten eye color and hobbies and favorite foods. Okay, as always, I learned this lesson the hard way. So years ago, I found myself trying to make one of my protagonists interesting. So what did I do? Okay, I did probably what you do. I gave another emotional wound. I created another hobby. I probably would have given her a pet dragon if I thought of it at the time or if I thought it would help. She became more complicated, but none of that stuff made her more memorable. Finally, I stopped asking, what else can I tell readers about her? And my question changed to, what decision can she make that only she can make? So what decision can this character make? That was a huge shift. By answering that question, I wasn't, building more personality. I was revealing something about her. So let's go back to Frodo from Lord of the Rings. He's not the strongest person in Middle Earth, right? He's not the bravest. He's not the most powerful, but he chooses to carry the ring again and again and again. He makes that choice. And that is why we remember him. And it's not because of who he is or what he is. It is because of that choice that he makes. Okay, right now you may be thinking that readers remember the information we give them about our characters. They don't. They don't. Traits describe a character, but decisions reveal one. Put that on a sticky note. Traits describe a character, but decisions reveal. Readers remember decisions. They remember that Katniss volunteers. They remember that Elizabeth refuses Darcy. They remember that Atticus takes this controversial case. Decisions reveal something about these people. So how do you determine if you're in this situation, in this boat with your own character? If you are worried your protagonist maybe feels flat, which I think we all are at one point or another, right? Then the question to ask isn't, what else do readers need to know about them? That is not what we want to ask. That is not what we need to answer. Instead, it's, what meaningful decision does this character make? It's not what happens to them. It's not what they think. It's not what they say. It is about what they actually choose. And that is where true character lives, that thing that you want to reveal that is so memorable. A decision is going to reveal priorities. It's going to reveal maybe values or their fear or some sort of courage. It's going to reveal who someone really is when something important is on the line. You can tell me your character is loyal, or you can show me the moment that they sacrifice something they desperately want in order to, say, keep a promise. One is about information. One method is about information. The other is about character. Okay, here's a little exercise I like to use when I am revising. I flip through a chapter and then I ask a question. What decision could only this character have made? What I am not asking is, what decision moves the plot forward? Okay, I'm not thinking about plot right now. I want to determine what this decision will reveal about this person. If another character in your story could just as easily make the exact same choice, then there's a pretty good chance that that moment is not revealing enough about your character. Memorable decisions are not interchangeable between characters. They're really personal. They are shaped by all of the things that a character believes, or that they fear, or that they want, or that they crave, or things they refuse to compromise. Think about Samwise Gamgee. He's one of my favorite characters in Lord of the Rings. Now, if I asked you to describe Sam, you could probably come up with a list of traits, and maybe based on the movie, that he's kind, that he's loyal, that he's a steady friend. And those things are true, but I don't think that's why we love him. Those things are not why I love him. To me, I think he's so memorable because he looks at Frodo and he says, I cannot carry this for you. I cannot take this weight from your shoulders, but I can carry you. I can be your support. That is a decision he makes to put himself on the line aside next to his friend. And that decision helps us understand exactly who he is and the lengths he's going to go to for friendship. And that's huge. Tolkien didn't have to tell us Sam was loyal. Sam showed us with his decision to be Frodo's sort of wingman. That's what readers remember, that Sam was there by Frodo's side because he chose to be. Now, if we diagnose this problem backwards, we end up spending so much time trying to make our characters interesting that we forget to make them revealing. Traits describe a character. Yes, they do. But decisions reveal a character. That is, to me, a huge perspective shift. So maybe your character isn't forgettable because they need more dramatic backstory, or another quirky habit, or a sharper sense of humor, for example. Those are misdiagnoses. I would say that they are quite possibly forgettable because readers haven't seen them make the kind of decision that really, truly reveals who they are inside, down deep. Maybe your character isn't forgettable. Maybe readers just haven't seen the decision that is going to reveal who they are, that is going to implant them in that reader's brain. And that's a really different diagnosis. Once readers witness the right decision, they start believing that character. And once they believe the character, then they're going to remember them. Okay, so here's this week's diagnosis in action, or homework. Think about the story that you're writing right now. Find the first decision that your protagonist makes that costs them something. Not emotionally, like someday, but right now, in this moment. If a decision doesn't cost them, it's probably not the decision readers are going to remember, right? It's all about your character's choice. So ask yourself, if I removed these decisions, would readers still know who this character really is? Would they see who they are deep down inside? And if the answer is no, then that's probably the real diagnosis. What's missing is that high stakes choice. Okay, remember, readers aren't going to remember the information you tell them. They're going to remember the choices that reveal who that character is. And diagnosis complete. All right, next week we're digging into another diagnosis, why readers care about side characters more than your protagonist, right? Sometimes side characters steal the show. The problem isn't that your supporting cast is too interesting. It's that your protagonist isn't driving the story the way you think they are. Once you see why, I think you'll be able to build a cast of characters in a different way so that they support each other. Here's the shift I hope you leave with today. Interesting characters, yes, they have traits. Unforgettable characters make decisions, and those decisions don't just move the story forward. They reveal who that person is inside, who that person is down deep. If today's diagnosis helped you see your protagonist just a little bit differently, then I've linked another diagnosis right here that I think you'll find just as useful. And before you start adding more backstory, make sure you're solving the right problem. Small moments shape the reading experience. That's it. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.
I would rain down blessings from heaven on your shoulders, boy. I would open up those gates and let you in.